Sonertolichi, I think I'm saying that right, asks, my question is, do the four brides have fighting styles? I don't want to know what type of fighting style, I just want to know if they could fight if they had to. Oh, yes, I guarantee you, if you crossed one of the brides, you would have regretted it. Diamond Death asks, whatever happened to the school that many of the characters went to back when they were in Knothole? Are we to assume that they were exempt from it as heroes since they returned to schooling during a time of peace? Or did something else happen, perhaps during Sonic's time in space? New Metropolis doesn't seem to have any sort of schooling. Actually, if you'll check the data files, there is a school and a completely separate science center for schooling. It's just the Freedom Fighters don't have the time, and yeah, they're exempt because they're heroes. Let's just leave it at that. MC Jr. asks, not sure if this was ever asked, but was there any discussion about making an adaptation of the cancelled Sega Saturn game Sonic X-treme at Archie during your run? No, there hasn't been any discussion of it. It's tempting because I am a big Sonic nerd and I'd love to use, every little nuance and every little lost idea, but it's really hard to make an adaptation of a game that never came out and never really had any solid or finalized, story material to it. I mean, I know there's Tiara, I know there's her father, I know there's the Rings of Order and such floating around, but there's not really enough there to use for a full-on adaptation, and I'm honestly not sure where the legality would fall on that, if Sega even, owns the ideas when you get down to it. So, there's plenty of other things to look into right now. If we ever run out of stuff, maybe we'll look at Sonic X-treme material. Bionic Slime asks, can Robotnik fully legionize someone, like turn their entire bodies into mechanical parts, or does the process simply work on certain body parts or something? Because if he's capable of legionizing someone's whole body, that sounds somewhat similar to the means of robotization. I guess I'm confused on the difference between how this process applies or is used. What actually goes into legionization hasn't really been very clearly defined, but I suppose technically they could go the Dimitri route, the full body mechanization with a brain, but not everyone would really go for that. I mean, you have those who are forced into the legionization, so they don't really have much of a say, but it's easier to convince the masses to replace an arm and leg than to have your brain ripped out and put into a metal shell. And if you were just to rip out the brain and put it in a metal shell, you're basically building a robot, so what's the point of legionization? You just built a robot already and you put an inferior organic brain in there. With just the partial cybernetics, that's a way for him to control while still reminding them of their former selves. It's a psychological thing. Dark Fox asks, is the main story in Sonic Live canon? Technically, yes, I think it has to be, because the Freedom Fighters are captured, and the backup story has them rescued from the main story, and it's not like Sonic hasn't done some wacky multiverse adventures before. So, yeah, technically Sonic Live is canon. Pompadour asks, so I noticed something interesting regarding the previous arc, Raining Cats and Dogs, Part 1, number 213. See, I love that title. That's a great title. Anyway, that was exactly 100 issues after number 113, which was also involving the Wolfpack. Out of curiosity, was this just a coincidence, a very cool one I might add, or was it purposefully planned with number 113 in mind? I wish I could take credit for something that cool, but that was completely coincidental. Sonic Blue Ranger asks, could it be possible that other Sonic continuities, the games, cartoons, and Sonic the Comic of Fleetway, exists across the cosmic interstate? Sure. Why not? The multiverse is all the incarnations of Sonic, so if it is a published Sonic thing, count it as part of the multiverse. If you really want to give yourself a pat on the back, say that your own fan creations lurk somewhere at the far corners of the multiverse. That's the beauty of the multiverse. And that wraps it up. That is every question that was asked in the Ask Ian thread. I just marathoned pages 4 through 12. Whew. So, thank you everybody for your patience. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm sorry if some of these answers were not what you were hoping for. I just wanted to get this done before it was a full year between me closing the thread and actually getting the answers out. I'm sad to say that this is it for Ask Ian, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't think my schedule is going to open up anytime soon so that I can maintain it on a regular basis. But still, keep going by the forums. I am there. I do lurk my own forum. I do read. I do comment from time to time. Also, check out the blogs at archiecomics.com. There's fan mail, Q&A, there's character responses, there's character journals. There's a lot of good stuff coming up there. And thanks for, asking all your questions, for keeping the forum alive, and being a lot of fun. Take care, guys, and enjoy the rest of 2011.